Integrating any subject with dance is just another way for students to communicate their understanding. The way that most educators work is it's a pencil and paper task, but dance is another way that they can communicate. So by showing the understanding through the movement of their body, it's actually easier than most think to determine if a child understands or not. Today we have a very exciting lesson plan. We're going to take the math lesson that we did yesterday and we're going to integrate it with a little bit of dance. So we get to dance our math lesson. So our topic today is symmetry. So can you think back to math class? What is symmetry?
Something that divides an object.
What is it that divides that object in half?
The line of symmetry.
The line of symmetry. Excellent. Are we symmetrical?
Yes.
We are. I've got a lot of students have trouble with the spatial aspect of math. So even those who are straight A students in math, when we get to geometry and flipping shapes and moving shapes and symmetrical shapes, they just don't understand it. So bringing them in, having them actually get up and do would actually solidify that concept in their heads. I've got some dance pictures that we can take a look at because today we are going to be making our bodies into symmetrical shapes. The first task was really about the students using their own body to create symmetry, and they really needed an awareness of the right side of their body being identical to the left side of their body. I decided to focus on levels, so creating a low-level symmetrical pose into a higher level shape and then going to a high level shape so they could be outstretched or reaching straight up. Should we do our dance warm-up?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's stand up. And can we go to our two types of lines warm-ups, that we had an isolation, which is a standard warm-up going from the head down to your hips, and just moving the body one body part at a time. Similar movements as in a phys ed class, but we do it slower with the dance music. They really had their own creativity here, so the students can do what they wanted to do and kind of get their energy out as they were warming their bodies up. Show us a symmetrical low-level pose. Good. Is it symmetrical? Yes.
Like math, we learned how to find the symmetry, and like doing a symmetrical pose was pretty fun because you had to figure it out just like math.
Why don't we all get up and dance together? So today we're going to be taking those symmetrical shapes that we just practiced, and we're going to be using them low, medium, and high, medium, and low.
Sway side to side. This is hard.
Sway forward and back. Good. Now start to grow. We're going to have half the class dance and half the class watch, and then the other half class. Good. As you watch, we're going to be thinking of one thing that they're doing really, really, really well, and maybe one thing that we can do to improve their symmetrical movements.
In the low pose, and like her feet are really stretched out, and she's really balancing very well.
If we could make it better, do we have any suggestions?
They did too much like stretching, like maybe a little bit more closed or something. Maybe like different actions.
Nice. And push
Her moves were really creative, and nobody copied them, and they were her own.
Okay, excellent.
When they were doing the ripples, they did it very creative and looked like they were actually real ripples.
Good. Oh, very nice. Excellent. We did very well exploring symmetrical shapes by ourselves.
When you do like math worksheets, like you usually do it for like a teacher for homework, and when you like dance it, you're just doing it for yourself. It's more creative.
It's pretty fun because you mix it around and you get really cool creative dance moves.
Well, I think that our next part you're going to like as well. We're going to be creative, and we're going to move on to using partners. So the mirroring is an exercise where there's a leader and a follower, and the leader will, be in charge. They can move any body part they want, and the reflection or the follower has to do exactly as the first person does. As long as your partner's doing the same thing, you will be symmetrical. You can do 5 moves. Ready? Just the other body. Good. And how are you doing the hands? I'm just going to put the music on, and I want you to do what we just did, but with your own creativity. So going from low, medium, and high, using the upper body, using the lower body.
going to add some locomotor movements. Now, moving around the room is really easy all by yourself, but what's today's lesson?
You have to move around the room and still mirror the moves with your partner.
Exactly, we're doing our math dances, and math dance today is all about symmetry. So I'm gonna put some green tape down on the floor so that we have a line of symmetry. And as we're traveling, we have to come in together and go out together.
The way that the dance curriculum has gone into the creative process is fabulous. As students who normally take dance outside, it's almost like a sport. It's just to follow the teacher, just do replicating the same movements. But here in school, they have the opportunity to be creative themselves. So it allows the students to, well, be naturally creative, but then find maybe that inner artist in them that they otherwise wouldn't have a chance to discover.
I want you to spread out around the room and come up with your own symmetrical pathway. Just like before, we're looking for things that they're doing really, really well and maybe something they can improve for next time.
It was very creative, and they had a lot of movement that's like, wow. I just like doing it with the partners because like you're not alone, and like if you just kind of mess up, like you're still doing the same thing and like they're still with you. And like I like the partners because you get to see what it's like to work with a partner, and I like to do it yourself because you get to think of yourself what you can do and what you can't do.
Excellent. Okay, give yourself a pat on the back for a job well done. Your task, your final task, is our group dance. So using all the elements that we've explored so far, we're going to create a symmetrical dance.
No. You guys walk back like in a little circle, and then me and Henry go zigzag.
Oh, that's perfect. I like working with groups because like you mostly use teamwork, and then you start with the pose, and then but you like use your brains all together to work.
Well, for our group, it was really fun because we put all the things together, all our ideas, and it sort of ended up in like a really cool fashion, and it was really fun.
We put it all together at the end, and it really was progression of the lesson, but really it was to bring all the different concepts together. So the individual and the partner, the locomotor, the non-locomotor, we put together into a short dance phrase, which is what the juniors are expected to do at this point.
It's time for us to show what we have, so come have a seat. As we are watching, going to be thinking of the elements of dance so that when we give our feedback and when we think about what we did, we are able to give specific feedback.
And talking about the elements of dance, it makes them aware that dance is a story, dance is a journey, and there's a reason why you do every single move.
So just to remind you, we've written down on the chart paper the areas that we're going to be thinking about and talking about.
They show a lot of locomotor and moving around a lot, and working together really well.
I like the relationship because it related with the music, and they worked with it like that.
Good, so they kind of joined everything together and we didn't even practice with the music. Can we offer some suggestions?
Since they were a little smooth, they should get some strong work.
Okay, yes.
They could use some more power if they're when they're doing sharp movements.
It was really fun choreographing and doing the dance all together.
They used a lot of space and they had good timing on it.
Mostly we were on time, so that's why I think the best was the mirroring.
I like the opening and closing poses. All of the moves were symmetrical and they used their space really well.
They did locomotor moves on Symmetry Path a couple of times rather than just once.
I always give you a homework reflection to do at home, but today I'm going to make it easier. We're going to do it in our groups. I'll come around and see how you're doing.
Oh, space, we had very good space. So when Dad had the good space,
When you guys did the
Having seen what I did see with these lessons, it's definitely something I would repeat again and I would recommend to other teachers.
It's cool.